The nav computer, Captain Collins and his crew have all been misprogrammed. They do not realize it, but they are already doomed.
You see, what I guess was happening there, am I right, was some kind of loyalty, because one half of you, 33 years with the company, must have said, I'll go with them, I'll believe what they're saying.
Well, some of the people that I was called upon to oppose were, of course, friends of 30-odd years standing. And they remained enmeshed in the idea that Collins must have been in cloud. Now, I had to prove scientifically to them, and obviously later on with the backing of practical pilots alike, that they were wrong. And I felt that while they were accusing me of disloyalty initially to the company, once they realized that the true cause of the accident, or the hypothesis that I was expounding and was supported by the world's leading scientists, I thought at that stage they would be delighted to find the true cause of the accident and would all get together and pick up the bits and make it back into the great airline.
Well, that's happened now, because all those findings have been accepted. Has the other thing happened?
Yes, it has. I must say that I'm critical only of the management of that time. The new management under Norman Geary are doing a fantastic job.
Is Gordon Reddy a natural fighter?
Well, I'd rather be a lover than a fighter, I guess. But no, I don't really think that I go around looking for fights or arguments, and particularly where it obviously meant coming out of my sinecure, if you like, at the top of the pilot seniority list, where you know, I didn't seem to have any enemies anywhere in the world.
Oh, well, you were senior training officer and all. That's, yeah. Why is it so difficult, or was it so difficult at that time, for the executive officers with that kind of responsibility and experience to accept responsibility, to accept the possibility of error?
Well, I think the Privy Council, you know, in their fairly lengthy submissions or report, about page 55 or 6, said, and I quote, "It is a failing of human nature that members of the airline management responsible for flight operations should shrink from acknowledging even to themselves that something that they have done or may not have done may have caused such a horrendous accident.
Now, you say that really quite benignly now, with hindsight, with compassion. Tell me about then, because he was Gordon Betty having to put his job on the line and go right out.
Well, you know, we were definitely polarised, and that is something, I guess, which, you know, is a price that I've had to pay much more than the monetary problems, you know, with finding that I couldn't work within that hostile environment and voluntarily terminating my career with the company with 7 years to run as their top pilot, with the prospect to look forward to I'd always cherished of having my one or other of my sons come through the airline system eventually and perhaps fly with me.
Here today, 5 years after Erebus, 5 years of investigation and research and controversy, the two men whose efforts helped to reveal the true causes of this terrible accident. And Mr. Mann, for you, a long and demanding haul over most of that 5 years. And I suppose when you began the Royal Commission, you really expected that all that would be required would be to rubber stamp an accident report.
Yes, that's what I thought. That's what many people thought. The report was published against the wishes of a lot of people. It was thought incongruous that a statutory officer's opinion should be publicised prior to hearing of the Royal Commission of Inquiry. But putting that on one side, I thought, oh, well, I suppose that's what happened, and it's a question of, in the end, just agreeing with what he said. I presumed that the evidence would support what the Chief Inspector had to say.
As the commission went on, and from the days when you sat listening to that evidence, it's been a long and tortuous legal course, taking you all the way to the Privy Council. Now, I believe, in general, there might be a common view that because the Privy Council has rejected your appeal, they in fact rejected your findings. Is that the case?
Oh, no, that's not the case at all. The tribunal took the view that I was correct in my assessment of the cause or causes. I was correct in deciding that it was not a case of pilot error. And what they did in effect was that they said that although I may have been correct, or indeed was correct, in deciding that numbers of witnesses gave false evidence, nevertheless they took the view that this false evidence was given individually by witnesses and not as the result of some predetermined plan. It's rather as if a group of singers sang as soloists and not as a choir.
Gordon Betty, what's the lesson for you after this 5 years of fighting?
Well, I think I have been accused of defending Collins in this situation. That really isn't what I set out to do. I set out to find the true cause of the accident, to try and find what could have trapped a pilot of the calibre of Collins and could have trapped any of the rest of us. And that's why I advanced the hypothesis and hoped that it would be validated, and in order that it would prevent any further accidents of the same sort occurring.